That
Yeah,
was like,
and you spent 5 years really in developmental before we even really got to see you on make your Raw debut. That's a chunk of change down there in developmental. How was it spending like multiple years working on perfecting this craft without getting the chance to really go to TV and show what you could do?
yeah, we like there. That's when I say it. So we had the live events. I did a bunch of live events,
Okay.
and live events are like almost like TV, right? So we are trained. We were like being trained for every live event, of course, working the crowds, be there entertaining people, but always conscious of the cameras and the angles and all this stuff. So depending of the match, it's up to you in your head how you want to play it. So, and my goal always was to be on TV. My goal always was to be part of the top guys. And I always picture myself being there and working to the cameras and like, doing what everybody does. And over the years, I was getting prepared into the when we started to do. So I started to do some NXT appearances. I worked some guys. I worked Pete Dunne, Matt Riddle, and some guys, and that was preparing me to Raw Underground finally. And
Yeah.
I did the Evolve show where we had like on network. So the Evolve show went to network. So like wasn't just finally Raw Underground. Like
Right. But
I
that's the
got some I got some stuff, but the Raw Underground was the biggest thing, the main event too.
thing.
And like I was prepared. I was
Yeah.
took a while, but finally came.
That's the thing is like I feel bad calling it because like I had some familiarity with you because of the stuff you mentioned there. I wasn't at the live NXT events, but I did kind of know your work from Evolve, and I certainly heard about the badassery of you in general as a human being. So it's interesting. It's very unique. You didn't really get an NXT run. You immediately get this call, or the first big call you get is to go do Raw Underground. What were you told about Raw Underground before you got in and got to be a part of it? What were you told it was going to be like?
Like I like so we just know the stuffs when they are happening. So
Okay.
I hear that they were like bringing up like a show is going to have like some street fight vibes. They were like bringing people with a background, like legit backgrounds, with like shooters to make like a different layout of a match. So they took the ropes and like they said to bring like some street clothes to wear and to have that street vibes, and I already got it. So when I came to Raw, and then we went there and I saw it, and I was like, okay, I got it. Will be kind of real, and all the matches were like short, and the direction was like real, go 100%, and right, 100%, and that was Raw Underground. Raw Underground was like totally different as we see the pro wrestling matches, right?
Yeah.
And wasn't like wasn't was like just go, just do it, and I did. Like, okay, what do you mean just do? Oh, just do. Okay, I did.
Okay.
It's funny, yeah, yeah, and was like I had so much fun doing it, and I had the opportunity to talk with a lot of people, and that was very good to be there, and I had so much fun. And this show was supposed to be non-stop running all the time. And but pandemic, the pandemic is sucks, and pandemic changed the life of millions of people around the world, also ours. And that's it. So Raw Underground just died because of the pandemic, and that's it. Because that's that sucks, man.
So you were hearing plans for Raw Underground before the pandemic, right? Like they'd already kind of come to you and were talking about it, right? Is that what it
Yeah,
sounds?
yeah. They said like kind of wasn't like, hey, let's do a meeting here. You're going to be there. It's everything like on the fly.
Sure. Well,
Everything on the fly. It's like between the producers, they know more than us. But it was kind of like we heard about it, and 2 weeks later, it was happening. It was boom,
mm.
very fast, very fast.
What was it like to work with Shane McMahon in that space? Was he like helping produce the matches? Like how
Yes,
yeah?
yes, it was so good. And you know that he trained, right? So like me
Oh,
and
yeah.
him, we have a friend in common that is Renzo Gracie. And the Gracie family is very big friend of my family in Brazil, the Jaoude family.
Okay.
And I talk to Renzo often, and he trains jiu-jitsu with Renzo Gracie. And when I met him, like years before on a WrestleMania, and on a catering, and he did a match, and I was like, "Oh, Shane, your punches are cool," and he was like punching me, and we had a talk. And I met him after on Raw Underground, and he's like a cool guy, man. He's like amazing, and he always wants to help you and teach you, and he was helping to produce the matches, and kind of because my jiu-jitsu background, I felt that he was kind of more like trying to build me there in that environment, you know.
Yeah.
And was fun, and he knew all the kind of moves I used to do. So when he was like calling the match on the fly during happening, he was like right away calling the omoplata, the armbar, and like because he trained and he knows. Was good, man. It was a good experience. It was very good experience.
Did you get the vibe this was Shane McMahon's vision of pro wrestling? Like this was kind of a way he'd like to see pro wrestling presented differently if he had the chance to kind of keep doing it like that.
I can't talk from him because I don't know. He never told me that was his idea.
Okay.
But like Vince was in the set. Like he came on the first week. He was there. He was kind of looking the papers and talking to people. And like Shane was all the time between. We had many producers there, and I don't believe there was an idea for John. Like one person had the idea. I think they have a team. They talk. They bring ideas up, and I was there. I enjoy it. I played. I had fun. Yeah, the only sad thing that went down, and
Yeah.
I could enjoy more if was running more. But
It is what it is.
it
But
is what it is. Yeah.
what was it like working with Vince McMahon? Like, did you ever get a chance to talk with him or
No,
any?
I didn't have the chance to talk to him because like because the virus thing and like people always was like stay kind of. I didn't felt necessity to go to him and talk to him because he was very busy
Right.
and wasn't so like long. He came in, he talked with some guys, talked to some producers, and left right away. So like I saw him, and I knew he was behind, and he's behind,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew he was behind. But like, was that vibe? All right, dude, he's here, right? So
We got to turn the energy up, right? Vince is in the ring, that kind of thing. So
yeah,
after
my energy was up. My energy is always up.
yeah,
Always ready.
so after Raw Underground, you get drafted over to Raw, but like don't really ever get the chance to make it. So were you told what was anything said to you about like what they had plans for you after Raw Underground, or was this just did you even know you were going to get drafted to Raw? I mean, what happens there in the wake of Raw Underground?
Yeah, so they had that talk that Raw Underground will kind of be finished, like will end because the pandemic thing, and they really didn't know if they will continue doing the Raw Underground or not.
Right.
And they kept us there, and we got drafted. I knew that I will be drafted to be like in the roster with Raw roster and working there and doing my stuff. And I got drafted and kind of stuff stopped happening. And finally I got a message to be on NXT, and I did that match when I worked Kushida, and I like really never knew what was happening, like.
Did your
And
I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, ask, you can say.
I was just gonna ask, did your contract change when you moved from NXT to the main roster? Like, did you get the full deal like when they made you part of Raw, or did your contract kind of stay the same?
I would like to not answer that if you allowed me, like,
Fine, no
because
worries.
I think contract stuff and all these things is very sensitive when we talk about it.
Hmm.
So I prefer to don't talk about that, and like let's keep it kind of
Don't worry about it. That's fine. So
uh, in
what,
kayfabe.
when you go back down to NXT, then I know you worked with Evolve before kind of the Raw Underground stuff. I had heard that there was like this NXT Evolve project that kind of had a Raw Underground feel to it that was being worked on. Did you know about this or participate in it? Do you have any idea what I'm talking about or anything like
No,
that?
can you repeat that?
Yeah, there was like we had heard there was like an NXT Evolve project that was being worked on that was supposed to have a feel kind of like Raw Underground. I never really heard anything about that other than the reports. I didn't know if you knew anything about it or participated in it, anything like that.
So when I was running the Evolve shows,
Yeah.
I knew in that time that that was like another opportunity for us as an NXT roster to keep working more, to
Right.
keep improving, to keep putting ourselves there. And like some guys was getting opportunity to work there
Right.
because it was like a different crowd, like bigger shows, bigger venues sometimes, and was totally different than live events from NXT. So Evolve is an indie show, was an indie show, and like just to be there, you had that vibe of indie vibe and pro wrestling vibe. And I am very fortunate to be there. Gabe Sapolsky, we become friends. He was like the promoter of the show, and that project I always I never heard that Evolve will be becoming NXT, will be become part of WWE. So I was running that show thinking that just like part of my career.
Yeah.
And when we did that last show that came up on the network, kind of Evolve finished, ended, and after I just heard the news that WWE was buying Evolve.
Yeah.
And after months, all those guys came in. Anthony Henry, Harlem Bravado, all the guys. I was working with them on Evolve. And funny, I used to tell them like, "Hey guys, I feel that you guys will be joining us soon."
Yeah.
And they used to be like, "Ah, no, man, come on, no, we are like a small company, you know." I said, "Man, I am telling you." And they finally made it. They came in. For me, it was like a joy because I always loved them, big friends. They came in, Anthony Henry, Joey Gacy, all these guys,
Right.
and they were like, but I never heard that that's going to be like a underground vibes or something. I heard that like they were like working in something to bring Evolve, like to make like a show NXT Evolve kind of,
Yeah.
but still like didn't happen. So like I don't know if that will happen or not.
Okay. So you had nothing to do with that. I didn't know because you were, like you say,
No,
kind of.
no, no.
Oh, you had nothing. Okay, that's all I was wondering. So but the last thing, Adrian, the reports, that came out here as we're getting closer and closer to what happened most recently, were that you were tapped to be a part of the Diamond Mine, and a couple weeks before the debut, we're told you weren't going to be in the Diamond Mine anymore. Now, is that report true? Is that accurate?
Yes, it is true, man. And that is the part when I go, when I kind of feel a little bit. I know that the business is like life. I know that life is up and downs, and you have to be ready. You see, like couple years ago, months, if I can say, we were like living a normal life, and came the virus, and everything changed, right? And I believe life is like that, up and downs. And wrestling, like the business, is so like, especially when you talk about TV, right? It's everything so up and down. But I knew that. So actually, when I did my match with Kushida, I knew that the storyline of that match would be leading to me be part of Malcolm Bivens' group, but wasn't Diamond Mind in that part, and like I supposed to be in that group. Was everything like just ideas? And I got injured. I did a surgery on my bicep, and things kind of stopped, but kind of I healed. I got cleared, and everything started to run again.
Yeah.
And that's where came up the Diamond Mine. It will be like a group of legit fighters, unlike those legit fighters with legit background. And I started to work like I always was, and I am still like a hard worker, man.
Yeah.
I work my ass off, man. I work a lot. And not just because I want to improve my technique, but I want to be always sharp to be able to deliver a good show always, because people are paying the ticket. People want to see a good show. And I don't want to disappoint people. People are paying to see what they want to see. And that's why I work my ass off. And I start to work more and more, and I get more in shape, and I did my gear, and things start to kind of move a little bit weird on a way that they cancel one date, they push to another date, but not just for me, for the group itself. And they cancel another date, and they canceled a big date supposed to be, and finally they had like the okay, will be this day. And I was, let's go. We all the group talking together, like we had like a group and everybody talking together. And man, days before, days. I don't want to
Date.
say days. It wasn't weeks. Like they debuted on Tuesday. I got a call Saturday. Hey man, we are putting you off now, but you are going to be in soon. And I was like, I felt something weird there. I was like, something's weird, man. Something's off here. And I was like, hey, let me know more. What's happening? No, it's nothing happening. You good? You are going to be in later, because if we debut all together, no makes sense. And in the future, we are going to be there. That's it. Okay. And the same week, bye bye.
Wow. Oh, wow.
and
So
and and man, like I'm not going to lie, man. This my last week was rough, was tough, man. I have 3 kids. I have to feed my kids. You know, as I said, I was born in Lebanon during a civil war, and I survived. And I moved to Brazil, and my life in Brazil wasn't easy. And I kind of made it happen. And now I'm here in US, living my dream. Like I had the opportunity to be there for almost 6 years, learning from the best. Like the system is amazing. You can learn, you can have big opportunities. But the way how things played in the end got me kind of, come on, guys, you can't do that. You can't come to one guy and say that you are going to be there next week. And my family is living the dream with me. We are all in on this. And one day you are like living your dream. The next day you are like, what I do now? Like, and like, of course, opportunities I will have a lot. And luckily I have friends, man. And this past week, if it wasn't for my friends, will be like so much fun. So like all the friends calling, my fans shooting messages, and like was so good. And it was good to know that people love me, people want me to be good, people are like cheering for me. But it was hard, man. Like not hard on a way like, okay, I got fired. Everybody gets fired. And life is like about that. People, you saw in the pandemic, people like lost their jobs, and it's sad. It's very sad.
yeah, it
But
is.
the way how things played, the way how things happened on a way that, hey, dude, be ready, man, be ready. Next day was like, okay, bye bye.
So
What?
it sounds like you would have preferred that on Saturday they just call you and say, "Hey, look, here's the truth. We're going to be making some cuts. That's the reason that you aren't going to be a part of the diamond mine," as opposed to kind of the ball and cup game of keep your spirits up and then kind of getting 360.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I believe because there everybody has their role, right? So like, I don't believe that a writer or a producer will be able or allowed even to tell you that you're going to be cut. So they
yeah,
have to tell you something, right? So like, but don't tell me that you're pulling me off to put me back. Just tell me, dude, it's over for you. I don't know what is next, but it's over for you. And I
yeah.
will know right away that something is off. But don't tell me that you're going to put me back. But that's fine. Maybe that person that called me never knew what was happening, because it's crazy. It's like everything changed so fast. And changes will happen no matter what. You have to be prepared. And luckily, like, so like just the way how things played was bad, and that got me like shocked. But other than that, it's life, and life is it's what it is. So like now I am like seeking new opportunities. I have big projects coming up. I always wanted to do that, and now I will have the opportunity to make them. And luckily, thankful now I'm not so restricted inside just one place, and I can kind of expand myself.
Well, and this is it's not a terrible spot, right? Like, and there's a chance you could always wind up back there, right? There's a lot of people.
Exactly.
There's a lot of people that leave the company, get more experience, reinvent themselves, new coat of paint, whatever you want to say. Look at Drew McIntyre, Jinder Mahal, right? They wind up back with the company. So for you right now, Adrian, what path do you want? Are you looking to actively continue pro wrestling, or do you want to take some MMA fights? Like what's the path that you see going forward here?
I want to keep doing pro wrestling, and I am open for MMA fights, and I am open for business itself.
Yeah.
But my first goal is pro wrestling,
Yeah.
and I am working to be in other companies, getting booked. I don't want to stop because, as I told you, I fell in love in pro wrestling. So I feel that I'm a pro wrestler now with a legit background. And the good part of it, because I can play MMA, I can play pro wrestling. So, but I want to keep in the business. I want to keep working. So hopefully our interview open doors for me, bring me some contacts, and
Oh,
people can reach me out and asking me to work. I still have 30 days to run, 30 days of cooling down my head and trying to understand what's going to be happening. But soon I'll be in action. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
hey, Adrian, I took you. I did not realize how much more overtime than I anticipated. You've been more than generous. I want to thank you so much. Before we wrap it up here today, where do you want to send people to support you, find you, follow you, all of those things right now?
Yeah, my Instagram, Adrian Jaoude, and also my Twitter, it's Adrian Jaoude. So maybe people can see us like at Adrian Jaoude and at Adrian Jaoude. Also, like Instagram and Twitter is the same. It's easy to find. And if people can go there and follow me and give me a like and give me a word of support, I will be more than happy to answer them.
Cool. Adrian, we're done. Brother, I